Hello and welcome to this sort of new video format slash rant type of thing. I decided to change it up a little bit because I just really wanted to talk about Mario Kart World. So I actually got this at launch, and I got the bundle here, which tragically only comes with a sticker on it. So we'll get to whether or not I think Mario Kart World is worth it. But first, I want to give you a little bit of background on me because I think some context is important. So I'm sort of a weirdo. I play Mario Kart by myself. I don't play online with other people. I don't have friends to play with. I play games usually with my wife, but she doesn't really like racing games. So I've been playing Mario Kart by myself for I don't know how many years. My first big Mario Kart game that I played a lot was Mario Kart 64, way back in the day. And I played some Mario Kart Wii. I thought the motion controls were kind of a cool gimmick at the time. And then I got Mario Kart 8 on the Switch. I do have it on the Wii U, but I didn't play it as much. I didn't play a ton of Double Dash. I didn't play a ton of the portable ones. And I'm very much a casual racing game fan. I am not a hardcore Mario Kart fan. I'm not a hardcore racing fan. I play racing games occasionally, just for a little bit of fun by myself. So this review is kind of coming from the perspective of somebody like that. I realize the main target audience of this game is people who want to play online with people and get competitive, maybe multiplayer, maybe they have friends over, or maybe a child or a nephew or niece or whatever. That's not me. I'm a solo player, and I'm sure that there's at least dozens of us out there. So I decided to share my thoughts on this because I do think that the conversation is a little bit different depending on where you're coming from for a game like Mario Kart. And normally I've never really been very passionate about talking about Mario Kart, but I think the Switch 2 is a pretty big deal. The Switch 1 was probably my favorite console, and I think a lot of us were very excited for the Switch 2, and seeing as how it's the only sort of first-party big launch title, yeah, it kind of warrants talking about, especially with the whole, it's $80 now and stuff, and is it worth it? So spoiler alert, if you're a solo player like me, I don't think it's worth anywhere near $80, but we'll get to that. The other thing I want to say is, before we get into it, I really like the game. I think it's pretty good. It might be my favorite Mario Kart in the series. And I want you to keep in mind that because I'm probably going to be a little bit critical about this game, but it's not because I hate it. I don't want you to hate it. I wish I could enjoy it more. I'm just kind of disappointed. I've played about 15 hours of it so far, and it's not bad. I had a lot of fun with some elements of the game, and a lot of disappointment with some other elements. And we'll do a little bit of a rapid fire of the things I liked, because I think it's the same stuff that everybody else likes about Mario Kart. I think the controls are fantastic. They're really good. The game just plays really, really well. I actually recently played a little bit of Mario Kart 64 for fun, just for nostalgia. And man, this game controls so great. It's really nice. I really like the new grinding and the wall riding. That stuff is really fun. I like how it feels a little bit more dynamic than Mario Kart 8's sort of wall riding segments. Those were more like almost scripted. These feel like, you could just do whatever you want in a given zone. And with that, I also really like the physics. I think it's pretty cool. It's a little bit more unpredictable, which is kind of neat. Also, this is pretty specific and weird, but my favorite Mario Kart course ever, I think, is, one of my two favorites probably is Toad's Turnpike from Mario Kart 64. And the fact that 50% of this game is just a highway with other cars on it that reminds me of Toad's Turnpike, it's pretty cool. I can get down with that. That's nice. I also really, really like all of the unlockable costumes for the characters. That was the most fun I had. We were sitting on the couch, and I was going all around the free roam, all around the world, trying to find the different foods, trying to get the different costumes for all of the characters, and it took us a while, but we did it. That was where the majority of my playtime landed on, and that was a lot of fun. The costumes look fantastic. Some characters, I think, have too few costumes, but it was cool. I also really like the giant character roster. That is so cool. There's so many obscure, strange choices for characters, and I love that. I do not love the way that you unlock them with Kamek. It feels very, very random unless I'm missing something. I'm not somebody who goes online and looks up a ton of stuff about games and how to do it and stuff like that, but apparently it's just random, and that's kind of lame. I don't know. I didn't love that, but I do like how big the roster is. It's really cool. And yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot to like here. If you like Mario Kart, I feel like there's a lot to like here. I really like the new knockout mode. I think that's really fun. Even when you're playing offline, like I just think it's a fun thing. I like how fluid it all feels rather than kind of starting and stopping the races. And I was pleasantly surprised by I believe it's called like the versus mode or where you kind of get to choose which course you go to between each course, and then you can choose which route in that course. I thought that was really cool. I wasn't expecting that. That was neat. And the battle mode seems all right. I hope they add a few more options to it, but it's not bad. So, I mean, it sounds pretty good. And I think like with the free roam, with the big open world, yeah, and all the other stuff, yeah, it's probably my favorite Mario Kart. It's just not my favorite racing game. And I think it falls pretty short, actually. And I was hoping it would feel better. I think Mario Kart World is pretty much exactly what I expected it to be, but not what I hoped it would be. And that's because I was very much spoiled, because my favorite racing game of all time is Diddy Kong Racing. And I think that this game is a masterpiece. It's my favorite racing game of all time, not just kart racing. And even though the world in Diddy Kong Racing is not nearly as fleshed out or big as Mario Kart World's world, it's just much more well realized in the context of the whole game. And what I mean by that is, when I'm running around free roam driving around free roam in Mario Kart World, it looks amazing. There's a ton of detail everywhere. There's so much detail. There's shops, there's little like details around the shops. Like there are things you can interact with that have like physics on them. There's a ton of detail, and I can't imagine the amount of work that went into connecting all of the tracks in a way that was sort of believable within this world they created. It seems like they put a ton of effort into the open world. But then free roam itself feels like an afterthought. Like it's not even part of like the main menu. It's just like a little extra option over in the bottom right corner of the game. It's and you can't do anything from free roam. And this I was surprised by. I was surprised because I thought in free roam you would be able to initiate the different game modes. I thought maybe you would drive up to something and it would initiate a Grand Prix or a knockout tour or whatever game mode. But no, it's literally just free roam. And that was really disappointing. Now, let me be clear, I wasn't expecting Mario Kart World to feel exactly like Diddy Kong Racing. I knew some things were not going to happen. I knew there weren't going to be bosses. I knew that there wasn't going to be a story mode. I knew that it wasn't going to have set items. I knew it was going to keep the random items that Mario Kart always has. I knew that there was a lot of stuff that was not going to be like this. Even the planes, right? They're just gliders in Mario Kart. They're not actual planes like in Diddy Kong Racing. I knew all that going in, but I thought the free roam would feel more tied to the rest of the game, the way that the open world in Diddy Kong Racing was tied to the adventure mode. And that was really disappointing. It's so lame because I like running around in free roam, but having to like exit out of that to go do a Grand Prix and just select it in the menu feels so like anticlimactic. I don't know. It's just disappointing. I feel like if they had maybe like a little toad at the race starts that you can talk to initiate a Grand Prix or a knockout tour or whatever, that would have been great. And maybe if you do that, maybe you have to drive to the spot where it begins in free roam. That's kind of what I wanted. And I think that would have definitely been within the realm of possibility for Mario Kart World. But no, it's just an extra mode. And okay, is that really enough to be super disappointed? Well, there's a couple other things too, though, because everything you do in free roam, other than the costumes, which I love the costumes, is rewarded with a sticker. And the stickers, at first I was like, oh, okay, so like they change your car up, or maybe they give you some sort of bonus, but no, they're just like little achievements, seemingly. So everything you do in free roam other than the costumes is just like a little mini achievement that you get. And you can technically see them on the car or motorcycle, but they're so tiny, I have a hard time spotting some of them. And when you're driving, forget it. Like, you can't see anything. Like, maybe you can see it in the menu, but not while you're driving. And it's just really disappointing. I thought maybe they would change the look of the car in some way, like the color or something. And that's all you get. And then the other thing is you can collect coins, right? And more coins you get, you can unlock more carts. There's nothing inherently wrong with that system, but I was still disappointed by it because having the big open world, like I've seen like car shops and stuff like that around the world. I thought you would save up your coins and maybe go to a car shop and, I don't know, have to like look through a catalog and figure out which car you wanted to buy and maybe like, oh, this one's like 2,000 coins. Let's save up for this one, But it's just random. Whenever you have enough coins, it just gives you a new car. I don't know if it's random or if it's a predefined order, but you have no control over it and you don't know what you're getting. And so it's not as exciting, for me at least. I think it's more fun to see the thing you want to get and then try to work towards it rather than just be given it at sort of these intervals. So that was kind of disappointing too, because then I didn't end up feeling like I wanted to collect the coins. It kind of just happened naturally while you play. And because I'm not shooting for anything, then I just don't care. So I don't go out of my way to collect the coins. So then in free roam, even though I really like driving, there's just not much to keep me interested. I don't really care too much about the stickers, and I don't really care too much about the coins. And that's kind of it. And don't get me wrong, I don't think everything needs to be extrinsically motivated, right? Not everything has to have a reward associated with it. You can just have fun. I'm somebody who loves doing that kind of stuff in like Breath of the Wild or, whatever sort of emergent kind of fun game you can think of. I like that kind of stuff, but it's just not enough here. And even though I do still have fun in free roam in that way, I think the fact that I have to exit out of it to then go do a Grand Prix or a knockout tour or whatever really takes away. And it just doesn't work for me. It's a real bummer because, again, I think it's probably my favorite Mario Kart, and it's so close to being a better like adventure for a solo player, but I think it still just falls short. It doesn't end up feeling as big of an upgrade as it could have been compared to Mario Kart 8 on Switch. And it's a shame because, when we got Breath of the Wild, I feel like that was a really bold move by Nintendo. And I feel like it was this huge new game with new designs and new things going on. And it was a lot to take in as a longtime Zelda fan. It was like a really bold new direction. And I kind of expected that from this, and I just very disappointed because it kind of feels like with the whole open world thing with Mario Kart, they're just dipping their toe in rather than taking the plunge the way they did with Breath of the Wild. And they've done this before, right? Like, I think Metroid Prime on the GameCube was another really bold change to the formula, and Mario Odyssey even though maybe it's not quite as extreme of a change as something like Breath of the Wild or Metroid Prime, it was this really ambitious game with so much going on, so much content, so much care put into its systems. And even in that game, you go to a shop and you buy stuff with the coins that you collect, and it's a lot of fun, as opposed to just getting it automatically like you do here. It's just not as fun as those games are. And it's weird because I thought it would be. I feel like Nintendo has been doing a really good job lately with its like first party games and stuff, but especially for an $80 launch title, I don't know. I don't see it. I think it's cool, and I can definitely see that they put a ton of work into the open world, but it just doesn't click with me the way I really wanted it to. Again, after like maybe 15 hours, I'm kind of good. I got all the costumes. That was a lot of fun, and I probably won't pick it back up for a while because I don't play Mario Kart that much, and I thought maybe I could stay interested in it. By contrast, Diddy Kong Racing, I pick it up all the time. I love replaying through the adventure and the story, and it's really challenging and fun, and it's got progression. And this doesn't have that. Mario Kart World, it doesn't have that feeling of progression for me. Sure, you can progress your skill. If you play online, there's a lot of fun to be had there, I'm sure. But it's just not. It's just not that much of an improvement compared to Mario Kart 8 for me. I'm sad to say. I love the open world. I think it's awesome. It's a great idea, but it just feels under-realized, and it's really sad. Hopefully, it's something that maybe they can add more content to in the future. Maybe let you be able to go to the other modes from free roam. I think that would be really cool. But as it stands, I'm glad I got the bundle, even though I don't have like a box to show for it. You can tell I like physical stuff. I'm not against digital stuff, but I would have liked the box, but $80 is a lot for somebody who only plays Mario Kart for 15 hours, or however long over the years, but yeah, I don't know. I'm underwhelmed with Mario Kart specifically, not necessarily with the Switch 2. I have thoughts on the Switch 2 as well. Maybe I'll make a video on that. And I'm pretty excited about Donkey Kong. But yeah, Mario Kart World, I wanted to talk about it because I just felt like it was such a big deal, right? It's a launch title. It's $80. And it looked really cool. It looked like it might be a really ambitious thing. But I think it falls short. Especially for people like me who were really looking forward to the free roam and the open world and what that meant for the series. And ultimately, I don't feel like it means much right now. It doesn't seem like it changed much at all. And I don't know if maybe Nintendo was afraid to change up the formula too much. But I think, again, looking at something like Breath of the Wild, that turned out great. I really love that game. And it's just sad to see me not feel the same way about Mario Kart. But I don't know. I don't like being super negative. I don't like being super critical. I do like the game. I'm not trying to convince anybody to not like the game. I wanted to come on here and just talk about it because I'm sure that there's maybe at least a few people out there who either played it and are maybe solo players like myself, or who are thinking about getting it. And yeah, I don't know. I would definitely get the bundle for the Switch 2 if you're interested in other Switch 2 stuff. I don't think it's worth the $80 as it stands, for people like me at least. It just makes me sad because it also means that we probably won't get a Diddy Kong Racing sequel, right? I mean, Nintendo's not going to compete with themselves, so they're not going to make it. And there's just not a lot of kart racers out there anymore. And it makes me really sad because, again, this is my favorite racing game of all time. And I still play it. It still holds up. But I look at the world of Mario Kart World and I think, my gosh, what could we do with a Diddy Kong Racing game today, with today's technology and today's game design? I feel like the game we could make would be amazing. But nobody makes it, I just don't think that those kart racing games are as popular anymore. Mario Kart seems to be one of the only game series sort of keeping that alive. I know they got the Crash Team Racing remake a few years back, but there's not a lot of kart racers anymore, and it's just a shame because I don't know if we'll ever get a Diddy Kong Racing sequel or spiritual successor or whatever, but it's not Mario Kart World, and that makes me a little sad. I just wanted to come on here, slightly different format video, and just kind of ramble a little bit without a script, just clear my mind and share my thoughts on all of this. So I appreciate you listening to me ramble on about Mario Kart World. I hope this was fun. Again, I'd like to make maybe some more videos like this in the future, but yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.